There is an anecdote that goes as follows. There was a time when ham radio was a popular weekend activity, and people could tune in to converse over the airwaves. One particular Saturday morning, the following conversation was heard. Well, Tom, it sure sounds like you're busy with your job. I'm sure they pay you well, but it's a shame that you have to be away from home and your family so much. Hard to believe a young fellow should have to work 60 to 70 hours a week just to make ends meet. And too bad you missed your daughter's dance recital as well. I got to tell you something, Tom. There's something that's happened in my life that helps me keep perspective on my priorities. See, I sat down one Saturday and decided to do a little math. The average person lives about 75 years. And yes, some live more, some less, but on average, we'll call it 75. So I multiplied 75 times 52, and I came up with 3,900, which is the number of Saturdays that the average person has in their lifetime. Now here's the interesting part. It took me until I was 55 years old to think about all this in any detail. So by that time, I'd already lived through about 2,800 of my Saturdays. I got to thinking that if I live to be 75, I only have about 1,000 Saturdays left. So I went to a toy store and I bought every single marble they had. And after visiting 3 toy stores, I finally was able to round up my 1,000 marbles. I took them home and put them inside of a large clear container right here in the shack next to my ham radio gear. And every Saturday since then, I take one marble out and throw it away. And I found that by watching the marbles diminish, I focused more on the really important things in life. There's nothing like watching your time here on this earth run out to help you get your priorities straight. I have to tell you one more thing before I sign off and take my lovely wife out for breakfast. This morning, I took the very last marble out of the container. And I figure if I make it to next Saturday, then I've been given a little extra time. And the one thing that we can all use is a little more time. But unfortunately, that's never guaranteed. It was nice to meet you, Tom, and I hope you spend more time with your family. And I hope to meet you again here on the band. This 75-year-old man signing off. Now, whether we go home and physically set up one or not, we all have a metaphorical jar of marbles that represents how much time we have left in our life. We may hope that our jar is full of thousands of marbles, but the reality is we have no idea how many marbles are left in our jar. Even more than that, we have no way of knowing whether some catastrophe may come along and knock our jar of marbles off the shelf, spilling them and taking away all that time we anticipated having. We're told in James 4:14 that our life is like a vapor and that it appears for a little while and then vanishes away. And we all have had times in our lives where things were left incomplete and opportunities were missed because we didn't maximize our use of time. Our relationship with God cannot be one of those things. Your jar of marbles may run out at any time. So whatever your excuses you've been hiding behind, put them aside. If you haven't put on the Lord in baptism, if you have a confession, if you have a need, bring it to the congregation. Use the time that you have. Take this opportunity and be sure that your soul is right before your jar is empty.